Infertility, impotency, and male sexual health issues are increasingly on rise. We all know the reason. The lifestyle is to be blamed. Lack of physical activity, improper nutrition, processed food, trans fat, chronic inflammation. Step around, the air that we breathe itself is inflammatory, right? The vehicle exhaust, the food that we eat because of the modern farming techniques, these all would lead to chronic oxidative stress on the body. Naturally, it impacts overall health. It also impacts sexual health. The interesting thing here to note is that sexual health, especially when it comes to men, are very closely related to the overall health, especially cardiovascular health. Both sexual health related issues and cardiovascular health issues have a common root, that is vascularity or vascular nature of the blood vessels. People often go around managing these sexual health issues. Specifically, I'm talking about conditions such as erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, delayed ejaculation, etc., with some sort of over-the-counter supplements or drugs. Now, these all come with its own problems and disadvantages. Most of these supplements are unregulated, and hence they may contain some sort of toxic elements such as heavy metals, arsenic, mercury. These are extremely bad for the body, especially for the liver health. So when you get onto these kind of supplementations to improve testosterone, and that's also common among people who go to gym and weight training and wanting to gain muscle mass. What can be done to improve this overall health? First things first, it's important not to kind of look at sexual health and overall well-being separately. These two are extremely correlated. Roughly around 80 to 90% chance that a person having erectile dysfunction may also have some sort of a cardiovascular disease or an imminent cardiovascular problem in next a decade or so, according to various research and studies. So we should look at improving an overall health and wellness perspective. This would require primarily three things. One, from a nutrition perspective, two, from an exercise perspective, and three, from a sleep and stress management perspective. Now let's look one by one. First thing is the nutrition, right? Now, as I earlier said, blame the lifestyle, blame the food that we are eating. It causes chronic stress in the body, and we often fall short of essential nutrients. The nutrients which are required for the production of testosterone, the male sexual hormone, also may go deficient, and that will impact libido, intimate wellness and health and all those things. Couple of nutrients which plays a very important role is one, magnesium, and two, zinc. These two are very important for right production of testosterone, the male sexual hormone in our body. Couple of other nutrients which are also important is, for example, folic acid is important for the proper DNA production. DNA fragmentation, which is the damage to the DNA strands inside the sperm cells, and also reducing the motility, sperm count. All these things are very common. Now, folic acid is helpful to some extent. Other nutrients, specifically antioxidants such as vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzyme Q10, selenium, these are another set of nutrients which helps in improving the male sexual health. L-citrulline or L-arginine, which is a vasodilator, meaning it dilates the blood vessels, thereby allowing more blood and more oxygen to pass through it. Naturally, it improves the cardiovascular health. As more blood and more oxygen reaches the genital tissues, ability of erection, a person's ability to manage and maintain erection also improves. So from a nutrition perspective, these nutrients are very, very important and helpful. Salt's Vital Boost is specifically formulated to contain these nutrients, thereby allowing the body, human body, to create testosterone and improve it by itself rather than providing testosterone from outside. This is very, very important. Why am I saying this? Because one, most of the testosterone supplements may contain contaminants, arsenic, mercury, as I earlier mentioned, bad for the liver. And some people resort to direct testosterone injection into the body or testosterone oral supplements, which actually causes many conditions including cardiomegaly, which is heart muscles getting bigger, right? We want the muscles of the skeletal muscles, which are the muscles around the biceps and triceps, the muscles which are voluntary in nature, to improve its quality and quantity. We don't want the muscles around the organ to be impacted. Now, hence it is important not to get into these kind of anabolic steroids, because when you look at from a health perspective, they will do more harm than the good. Apart from the nutrition, from these nutrient perspective, Another thing which is very important is adequate amount of fat. Now, fat is a double-edged sword, let me tell you that. Fat is important for the body. After all sex hormones, let it be testosterone or even the female sex hormones such as progesterone or estrogen, are all fat derived, or the basic element is basically sterol or fat. Now, dietary fat is very important for managing this hormonal balance. But fat is a double-edged sword. Some fat can be good for the body, but some fat can actually be bad for the body and can cause cardiovascular diseases. Trans fat is an example there. So adequate amount of dietary fat is very, very important there. This along with a balanced meal, which goes with right amount of carbohydrates, right amount of other nutrients including protein and micronutrients, vitamins, etc. Going balanced is very, very key when it comes to improving the overall health and sexual health. Second thing is the exercises. Now, there are a variety of exercises. Broadly, let me divide these three exercises into three categories. One would be weight training, second would be cardiovascular exercises, and third would be yoga. Of course, you can have a combination of two or more exercises and you can call it by different names. Weight training is any exercises which involves muscles being used and there's a resistance across muscles. Classic example is you go to a gym and do a dumbbell biceps curl. That's a weight training for you. All exercises that our ancestors, our grandmothers and grandfathers used to do in day-to-day activities at their home, such as, grinding a coconut or taking water from the well. These are all exercises which involve these muscles. It improves muscle quality, has a direct correlation in terms of maintaining optimal sexual wellness and maintaining the hormone balance. When it comes to men, I'm talking about the testosterone balance. So weight training is very, very important. Cardiovascular exercises are exercises which involves your heart and lung. Anything that you gasp for breath is a cardiovascular exercise. Third one is a yoga. Yoga is not just about the body, it also impacts the mind and the soul. It also allows you to maintain proper posture, flexibility, all these things. So when we look at exercises, it's important to include all the three exercises, but weight training may perhaps have a slightly better edge when it comes to maintaining the testosterone levels. Third one is the adequate amount of sleep and stress management. Stress hormone cortisol has a direct negative impact on the hormonal balance of our body. So obviously it's important that we sleep at least 8 to 9 hours in a day. When we do all these three things right, we improve our body composition. What do you mean by improving body composition? You reduce the body fat while you improve the muscle quality and quantity. In certain cases, if a person is overweight, naturally the person will also lose weight. It's important because the body fat, the more fat a person has in the body, this fat tissues would convert the sex hormone testosterone to the female counterpart, which is estrogen. This process of turning testosterone to estrogen by the adipose tissue or the fat tissue is actually called aromatization, and this happens in increased rate for a person who is overweight, has a bad body composition and has an excess body fat. We don't need that, right? And testosterone is not just about sexual health. Let me remind you that testosterone is also important for our body to produce adequate amount of red blood cells and also maintain the bone mineral density. Now these three things, proper nutrition supplemented with right kind of nutrients if required, along with right kind of exercises, along with right amount of sleep and stress management is what is important. Now when you do this, obviously you would see your sexual health improving, your ability to maintain erection and sexual well-being that improving. Not just that, it also has a holistic impact on the overall health. I'm talking about cardiovascular health, or it could be even maintaining managing many other lifestyle disorders such as say fatty liver, blood pressure management, so on and so forth. After all, remember, there is no single panacea or a single answer to improving health. It requires an holistic approach which involves supplements and at one extent, and the other side, exercises, stress management and sleep.